Good evening, everybody. Sorry, I'm just finished eating. My name is Miles Thompson. I'm the president of the Philadelphia Folksong Society. Thank you all for joining this meeting. We are being recorded. It is the 23rd of August, and this is the meeting that usually we have some early morning get together called a board meeting at the festival, and we are not doing that this year, so we're doing it here. Thank you all for joining, and for those that are coming in. I do have a set of minutes I'm going to try my best to follow. The first thing I want to do is I want to, somebody could help me by passing a motion to call the meeting to order.
So moved.
Second.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
Jim.
Jim seconded. Thank you. The meeting has been called to order and is opened.
What time is it, Miles?
It is, according to my machine, it's 7:05.
Thank you.
And the first thing I want to do is to, just for the board, vote to approve the minutes from last month's meeting that Wendy did such a great job putting together, and some of us did a little editing on, but very little.
I move that the minutes be approved as adjusted by comments from the board.
Very good.
I'll second.
Thank you. So moved. We have and now taken care of that. All right, give me a second to go to my list, gang.
Who seconded that? Was that Rob?
George.
George.
Thanks, George.
All right. So the first thing I want to go over is that our membership is wonderful and amazing. And not only has our membership come through with the 61 for 61 campaign, and people have given more than $61. They've signed up for the 61 and then given addition to that, has been amazing. I also would like to point out that in the last month, the last 3 weeks really, we have our office, which isn't really functional yet, received a whole bunch of furniture, office furniture, and professional filing cabinets, which are heavy as hell but lovely. And this was donated by Bob Baldwin, who came down and met me at the office, and he brought his own crew of paid guys, and they unloaded this stuff, and we have an office that's starting to look like a real office. And then just this past weekend, Brian Fedish offered up a bunch of computers for us. So we now have a bunch of new office furniture with a bunch of new computers. On Saturday morning, I met Comcast there, who actually showed up at the end of their appointed time, but they showed up. And we now have Wi-Fi internet at that office space, which is, I have to double check what they're billing me for, but what I signed up for is less expensive than what we had at the old venue, because it's a slightly different package, and we got supposed to have gotten some discounts, but I got to wait to see the bill. So, you know, we are moving on toward having a respectable office where business can be done. Now we just need to have more people in there working it. But I'm so grateful to Bob Baldwin and Brian Fedish for helping us on that. We also have some really good news we want to share with the members and all of us, and I think credit needs to go to the people who did the work. So I'm going to turn over the tax issue update to Eric Ring. Eric, do you mind taking this?
I can take it. Actually, first, I think we need to vote on approving the minutes. We never took the vote.
I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
George.
Did we?
Jim, yeah.
Oh, we didn't vote. You're right. We
We
didn't
didn't
vote.
vote. It was seconded. We didn't vote. Sorry.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor.
I'm abstaining because I didn't read them because I was away all week. I'm sorry.
All right. Sorry, I got excited and just went right by it. Okay.
So I'll start off with the whole tax situation first by giving kudos to Eric Robbins,
Yeah.
because he has been working tirelessly to catch us up. We're not like 100% caught up, but we're darn close, and he can kind of expand on that a little bit. But because of him, like, I can't do the tax stuff until he's done what he was doing. And so we filed the 990 for 2021. Because of that, we were able to file the BCO 10 to try to get our solicitation license back from the Commonwealth. That was filed. We should be contacted by the Commonwealth within 14 days. I believe that they're mandated to make a decision within that time. Hopefully they don't come back and ask, a question or something like that delays it. But assuming everything was good, and I think it looks good, I'm hoping to have our license back at least by the end of the month. But what I'm going to do before I go into the other aspects of filing the 990s and some of the issues associated with some of the late filings, I'm going to actually kind of give it to Eric Robbins, because that's probably a good time for him to talk about where we are financially, and then he can throw it back to me and I can talk about some of the debt that's associated with the late filings.
Please,
Okay.
Eric Robbins, go ahead.
All right, I will share a screen for the treasurer's report. Okay, can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay,
Barely.
Barely? Is that better?
Can you enlarge it? I'll try.
It looks good to me.
Well, I'll figure it out.
Okay. So highlights for this month, as was already stated, we filed our 2021, we completed our 2021 financial statements, the compilation, and it was filed with the state along with the 990 to the IRS. So as we all mentioned, this was our final step for getting in our filings up to date and to have our charitable registration reinstated. We are now up to date with everything. Our 2022 financials and tax returns are not done yet, but they're on valid extension till November 15th, and we will knock them out and have them filed timely. Another highlight for the month is that we collected over $15,000 of membership dues since the launch of the True Believer campaign. So thank you so much to everyone, the membership, our communications team for, getting the funding in. It's going to allow us to move forward and provide some benefits and pay off some debts. We were also able to settle over $45,000 of debt to two of our vendors, Arctic Glacier and United States Services, for just $25,000. So we had a lot of debt forgiveness income. And then the last part, it's under highlights. It should be under lowlights. Unfortunately, we received a notice from the IRS assessing $45,000 of interest and penalties related to the late filing of the 2019 990. We were already aware of the penalties we had on the 2020. This was new to us. Obviously, it wasn't new to the organization. Notices must have been provided, been mailed out, and must have been in the hands of Justin at some point, but we just found out about it now. But Eric, as he mentioned, he'll get back into it, but let's not have sticker shock, because we feel as though we have reasonable cause to abate this interest and penalties. And typically the IRS will work with you a little more if it's interest and penalties on a late filing. Remember, we're not for profit. We don't pay income taxes. So this is not interest and penalties on late payment of taxes, which the IRS enforces more stringently. This is just on late filing. So Eric, once again, we'll go back to Eric. He's already started the process for abatement. So we feel like we have a good chance of that. So those are the highlights for the month. Looking at our income statement for the month, we've collected over $20,000 of revenue. And then we have debt forgiveness income of another 20,000 because we were able to arrange those settlements. So total revenue for the month is about 41,000. We had some operating expenses of 7,000. That's a little greater than we normally would have in a month because we had to pay some bills, annual bills like our insurance and our donor database bill. And then, of course, we have the 45,000 that we have accrued as an expense we haven't paid, hoping to abate, but we're putting it on the books. So our total expenses for the month was 52,000. So unfortunately, what really would have been a great month when you look at the top, more membership dues and unsolicited contributions than we have gotten from our members in a few months. And then, of course, the debt forgiveness is all really good stuff. Unfortunately, it's a little hampered by that IRS penalty, but we're hoping not to pay it. Eric will talk a little bit about that. So we are showing a loss from operations for the month. And then we did get our security deposit return. So that helped our liquidity, our cash flow, another 7,700 came in. So unfortunately, our deficit increased 3,400. We had 123,958 as reported to you in the July meeting, and we're up to 127. But if we can get that 45,000 abated, it really would have looked incredibly good the other way, and we're hoping to get it abated, but this is the picture. So we're showing an ending deficit of 127, and we'll look at the balance sheet, which will show you how that's broken out. We currently have 37,000, close to 38,000 in TD Bank, another 3,500 in S&T Bank. So we have 41,000 in the bank. That's pretty good cash position right now for us. We don't have any current payables. We're paying everything currently now, so nothing to accrue. The line of credit interest, which is typically due on September 1st and would be accrued, Miles already made that payment for this month. So we have no current payables. We have the old payables. Obviously, the two big ones dropped off, United Site Services and Arctic Glacier, because we made those settlement payments. So we still have a couple old ones. And then we have the IRS penalties. Once again, you know, our total liabilities of 168, close to 169,000 puts us in that deficit. But if we can get that 55,000 plus of IRS penalties abated, we're actually looking pretty good and have had really great progress on all the, you know, all the cash basis stuff. Once again, hopefully we're accruing this and then hopefully writing off versus paying. But once again, Eric will talk more about that. And then the last part is just the cash flow statement, which reconciles the bottom line change to the change in cash. Once again, we're showing a net loss or an increase in our net deficit of 3,400, but included in that is the 20,000 of debt forgiveness income, which was not cash that came in. It was revenue reported, but not cash. So we backed that out. And then we paid 28,000 of old bills. Well, not the line of credit's not old, that was current, but we, and so was Vimeo, but it was accrued last month, both of them. So, and then the Arctic Glacier and the United Service settlements that we talked about. But then we add back 45,000 because that's in the bottom line, reducing our bottom line, but it's not something we paid. So overall, 7,300 was used in operating activities. And then we made a couple principal payments on our line of credit. Every time Miles pays the accrued interest, he bumps it up and rounds it up to the nearest 100. So it results in some payments on the principal. So overall, we had a decrease in cash of 7,500 from the beginning that we had close to 49,000 to get us back to the 41,467 of ending cash that I showed on the balance sheet.
And then I guess I'm going to jump back in and
Thank you, Eric Robbins.
Yes.
I'm going to jump back in and just kind of go over what the plan is about the IRS penalties. So, and the 2019 penalty was actually 53,000, and I believe that we had some employee retention credits that went to reduce that. You know, never say slam dunk, right? But that being said, we have some good arguments to use reasonable cause to have them abate most, if not all, of the IRS penalties, especially the first one. The IRS will sometimes forgive and do a one-time abatement of penalties. So we might be able to get rid of that 53,000, which would then release the employer retention credits. to come back to us, which would be fantastic.
Right.
We also have, I'm laying out some arguments with the request for abatement to the IRS, and I've talked to them. We have a 90-day hold on them looking for anything right now, but when we submit it, I think we have a good shot of abating the 2020 and then maybe the 2021. So the 2019 one, I feel pretty good that we can get that abated. The 2020, which is the 10,500, I think there's a good shot, not as much as the 19, but a good shot of that. The 2021 is probably, which is not on the statement yet because it hasn't been assessed, probably will be around the 10,500. Going to make the same argument, and I think we have a good shot with that. That being said, I'll submit everything, and we'll see what the IRS says. So that's where we are with the abatement.
Thank you, Eric Ring. As I said, this month, the two Erics are my heroes. I'm stunned by where we are. It's great. Thank you, guys. I know that the overall numbers are looking a little bit worse than last month, just because of that taxes and fines out of the fines and penalties out of the IRS. But I didn't think we would quite get to this point where we've paid off, these huge outrageous debts that were rung up and never paid. So I'm feeling very positive about that, even with that increase in non-cash deficit. So yippee. Thank you, everybody. Moving on, let's talk about development planning and resource development planning, and let's Rob take it away. Rob Kutzik.
Thank you, Miles, and thank you, everyone, for your work that Miles has mentioned in the area of the True Believer membership, because the first phase of fund development without doing fundraising of the revenue plan was to continue to really accelerate any opportunity to bring in more membership. And we'll talk in a little bit about membership, but the next phases are going to be as follows. There's going to be hopefully great celebration when the BCO comes in, and we will then be pivoting to actual fundraising where we are allowed to solicit. And of course, there's going to be so many supporters that are going to want to do that. We'll want to make sure that we are aware of all the exciting things that will be happening from members, but we will be focused on one major event that will bring in a large sum of money. And we will also be approaching our potential sponsors for the 2024 festival. We're in the process right now of basically reimagining a bit from last year, the sponsorship package. We are making an appeal for anyone that has the ability to work in PDF and Canva and other type of visuals to help us update the sponsorship packet. So we're ready to go as soon as the BCO comes out. And we already have some prospects that we're looking at. And finally, obviously, we will be approaching some individuals that we believe may want to help. So I think that we're off to a great start, and it's been impossible without all of the members, without members of this team making it possible. Anybody else have any questions or any comments? Am I frozen? Okay.
Rob, I had a question for you. I know that you're looking at the long term, and I was wondering, in terms of sponsors, do you work on you're going to sponsor this year and then we'll check out next year, or do you work on a sort of multi-year deal? How does that go?
Great question, Wendy. In a sponsorship package, you always want to try to nail down multiple years if you can. Particularly this year, it might be a little bit trickier, but we'll want to at least discuss the possibility of multiple years. The way the package is going to be designed will be focused on 1 year, but we'll be getting to discussions. One of the aspects, particularly a presenting sponsor, if you can give them what seems like a deal, we could lock them in for a couple years.
Thanks.
Sure.
Thanks, Rob. Any other comments, questions from board members? Rob, while you've got the floor, do you want to speak about where we are with the Musicians Artist Cooperative, formerly known as the Co-op?
I thought you were going to say membership numbers. Is that going to come by later on, the
Yes.
membership numbers?
Yeah, you'll come back, yeah.
Okay. The co-op has been very exciting. Lots of ideas are percolating with a powerful group of co-op members. We've renamed the co-op to the Musical Artists Cooperative. And thank you, membership, for pointing out that the idea of calling it a pack was not the best idea. So, with that said, although we have some great ideas and some great planning, nothing is yet firmed up because it has not yet been approved by the full committee. So we will have a lot more information coming soon. But at this moment, all I can do is give you a teaser that we're talking with a number of venues who are interested in having our local performers play. And we are talking about different ways in which we can get this information out.
Cool, thank you. I do have a question about name. I've been seeing different things. MAC is fine. Musical artists or musician artists co-op?
Very good. We have one member that keeps calling it musician artists, but it is musical artists.
Okay, thank
Musical
you.
Artists Cooperative, MAC.
So Wendy, please note in the minutes, because we want to have it officially recorded to be the right thing, and I'll do my best to get it right in my notes. Musical Artists Cooperative, very good. Thank you.
Musical Artists Cooperative. Thank you.
Good. Board, any questions or concerns about this? Thank you all. Thank you all. All right. Sorry, I'm not ahead of myself here. Kimberly, do you want to tackle communications? And then that will be followed by membership report by Kimberly and Rob.
Yes, I'm happy to. Thank you, and good evening, everyone. The marketing and communications team has been really busy, and I'm so proud to announce that with the help of everyone on the team, as led by Annie and Jenny French and Corinne and just so many people, we put a tune-up out, our first tune-up, which was amazing. So yay. So I hope everyone got it. There was a weird little email glitch that for some reason on Sunday, our email program decided it was going to send it again to 12,000 more people. So if you were those people, you just got the good news twice. And another good news about the newsletter is that because Aaron is able to go and pull brand new memberships exactly and send them to us, yesterday I uploaded everyone who was a member in 2023 into our newsletter system. And we now have a separate list only for up-to-date members. It is up to date as of 9 a.m. this morning. So that was a big whew. So what we're going to do is Erin every week is going to send me an updated list. She's going to pull the new membership, and then I am going to add them into our newsletter system. It's a program we use called Robly. And if I'm going to cross my fingers and with a kiss and a prayer, it's going to keep continuing to work. And so if you are a member and you didn't sign up, if you signed up prior to 9 a.m. this morning and you did not get an email from us today, please check your spam folder and then send me an email. Maybe, we have had cases where newsletters, your email program will just say, well, this is spam, and you'll never even know it came to you. So be sure to check on that too. So over the moon, just over the moon. Annie is leading up the tune-up team, and she has already got another one scheduled. So they should be coming to everyone monthly. I'm going to let her talk a little bit at the end. But I also wanted to make a note, everyone hold the date, because Eric Ring did something so cool. It is PFS night at the Phillies, y'all. That we have 200 tickets in our name to sell. Come out, join the community, come to a Phillies game with all of your friends and neighbors. And the link is in the newsletter. We've put it online. I'll create an event. I'll do all the things. I just haven't had time to. So please, it's September 13th. Am I right, everybody? And yeah, okay. Eric, you want to say a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's September 13th. It's a 6:40 start. It's against the Atlanta Braves, and it should kind of come at a point where magic numbers are being talked about. The two things that are important in my life are folk music and photography, and the Phillies. So this is very exciting for me. If more than 200 people are interested, we can expand that to get more than 200 tickets. I think that it would be cool if, like, especially committees join forces together. They could sit together. It's all in the 300 section, so we can just have fun and actually meet again in person at an event. So that was the idea, was just to give us an outlet to meet in person again.
Yeah,
this is brilliant. Thank you. I'm just picturing a sea of red, all the like vest colors and tie dye. I think it'd be brilliant.
So this is going to be super fun. Y'all tell your friends, tell your neighbors, sign up, grab some tickets, come hang out with everybody. It's going to be a great time. And as maybe you can tell, the membership, we are actively working behind the scenes, trying to get more and more special perks and special opportunities. Oh, there you go. George has got the shirt.
Yeah.
That's the shirt. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, and so the Keswick was an example. The show last week with Creedence Clearwater Revival, I hope this was messaged to everybody, but $5 of every ticket sold came back to us as a marketing fee. So these type of special events, these type of special partnerships, we just keep gearing them up and keep chatting about them. And I had a special meeting with XPN, which you all should be hearing more about. They have a festival coming up in September. So keep your fingers crossed. Again, that one's on me because I was out over the weekend, so I just owe them some information. But as those updates come in, we will let you all know. Now, does anybody have any questions about newsletter?
No, I just want to make sure that it is clear for the public record that the $5 marketing fee that came back to us on the tickets was not a solicited fundraising thing. It was strictly a fee, and that it was not actually Creedence Clearwater Revival. It was a cover band doing their greatest hits, which they did admirably well. But let's just be clear.
Oh man, yeah, it was a cover show. It was, what were they called? Classic cover band.
Something. They were good.
Yeah,
they were good.
Awesome. I was sorry to miss that one. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so let me jump onto the website. Our website, the bane of our existence, pfs.org. Someone just shoot me. The good news is we have come to an agreement. All of these amazing people on this website, I have the best brains in the business telling me how to move this server. And when Rich Gopstein gets back from Germany, we are having a Zoom meeting, and he says he can move it in one day, which means we will have our brand new website as soon as we have this meeting, if I understand everything correctly. So I know that's something that it's been driving everyone out, outside of the board crazy, but it's not been driving anyone more crazy than me and the board members, just so y'all know. And I just sent an email to Sam Bolenbaugh asking him why folkfest.org is still down. I asked him to make some updates. They seem to me updates that wouldn't take over a week. So I've sent him a note and said, what's going on with that? If anyone, that website still works, and we process memberships through that as well. So it's not an ideal time to have that website down. So when I hear back from him, I'll let everyone know. Special projects, we're just going to put that on hold right now. I've got to connect with Joe Henderson, who's been doing some information gathering. Alyssa Landes is putting together a report on volunteer cost for the festival for me. So I've got to connect with her and see where she is at with that. I'm talking to Sean Smith. We're doing a podcast episode tomorrow to talk about the 61 for 61. So that's going to be pre-recorded. We'll let you know when that comes out. And I hope everybody heard the amazing Wendy Fuhrer talking to Ian Sunday night on XPN. If you did not hear that, that link will be up shortly. As soon as we get it, we will share it on our page so everybody can listen to that. That was really awesome. So I think that's what I've got on my little list of things. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's working so hard on the Marketing and Communications Committee. We also discovered that we have had a Canva Pro account. Marie confirmed to me that in the past, PFS has had a Canva Pro account. Everyone keeps hearing about Canva. Well, Canva is the program that allows us to make these graphics like the one you're seeing behind me. And it's real simple because somebody like me can do it. So that's got to tell you something. It also has the ability to create templates. And I may be, well, I know I will be sending this board, a request for us to reinitiate that account, because I'd like to tie it to our social media so that way whoever's using and creating the graphics can automatically publish to our social media accounts just with a one push button, which would super simplify and super streamline what we're all doing right now. And I believe that's it for me. I wanted to hand it over to Annie for just a real quick what she's looking for with TuneUp, and then if anybody has any questions. So Annie, do you want to do a quick update on what you're looking for with the next tune-up?
Yep, just a couple of things. I thought it would be good to have a message from the president. Miles, bullet points, just get them to me and I'll write it. Anything else from the co-op, bullet points, I'll write it. We'll get all of that done. And just to let you know, Sarah Sweet's coming over Monday. We're going to work on a logo. We're going to work on a masthead. So we have a plan on that. We're also going to do a calendar. I've already reached out to a bunch of people. I'm getting information about stuff, links to house concerts, all kinds of stuff. So that's what we're working on right now. And probably an interesting article about, somebody or something that we want to share. So, so that's the plan. But
Great
we're
stuff.
also looking at trying to make sure everything is in to me within like 2 weeks or so from now, so we got time to put it all together, get it cleaned up, get the art in, and get it out the door like the third week of the month. That's our deadline. So
thank you, Annie. Wonderful.
And sorry, Miles, real quick, I just wanted to add, Annie mentioned events. On our website, that is something we're going to have, an events calendar. So that way, any local or regional events, acts can come, and we're inviting anyone to put the events on our calendar. So because we want to be a hub for our community. And it's not restricted to PFS only events.
Oh, one last little thing. I spoke with Jan Alba today of Rusty and Jan, who took over the folk show from Ray Naylor. They're doing it every Thursday, and they want to talk to somebody. They want to talk to somebody from the Folksong Society when they're recording one of these shows in the next couple of weeks about what's going on, because they'll push it out. So we just have to decide who wants to talk to Rusty and Jan.
Yeah, we'll do that via email. That's amazing. Thanks, Annie. Great stuff.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Questions, comments from the board?
Do we want our membership numbers? Our first accurate membership numbers?
Well, before we do that, we had two possible events where we would possibly involve PFS members at two upcoming shows at the Keswick. Did you want to talk about that, Rob, or is that still in the incubator and we're not sure enough what's going on?
Well, we could talk about that for a moment. There is a event with Clannad on a weeknight coming up, and there's also on September 10th, Tommy Emmanuel. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
And we would very much like to have volunteers to man just a information table. And in the best of all worlds, we would love the information table to have some T-shirts and some maybe even some paper membership forms. So if we have any volunteers, please reach out. You can reach out to the director's email or me. I will try to work that out. Yes, I hear Annie. Annie, who's muted. Annie wants to say something.
I'm just saying I'll go for Tommy Emmanuel.
Yeah.
We're also, part of that thing is that we are trying to set up a meet and greet of our people, because we couldn't meet in August. And so there is a side room, a side bar, and a very small side stage at the Keswick. And the last time we got in there, which was for it was a last minute offer to go in for the Creedence Clearwater classic rock album. Jefferson Barry sat on the side stage and played and entertained while people had drinks before the show. And we're talking about maybe figuring out how to do a get together after the concert on the night of Tommy Emmanuel, because that's a Saturday, and on the 13th, which is a Thursday, for Clannad, which is a wonderful Irish Celtic trad and Celtic rock band. And for those of you who love that stuff, as I do, it's worth going. Is to maybe do that beforehand, because it's a Thursday and we're old, and staying up late's a drag. But keep an eye on that. We're going to see what we can do. It's just something to do for the members so we can get together around some good music. Wendy.
Yes, Rob, regarding the volunteer table for these events, if you want to have any kind of merchandise or t-shirts, please reach out to me with plenty of notice, and then I can search what we've got and pull out some stuff for you. Thanks.
Yeah, we have limited, we sold most of our merch when we got out of the big venue, thanks to Wendy and a group of incredibly dedicated volunteers, but we still have some. And it's more a matter of just sort of putting the Folksong Society back in people's heads, which is what we did the other night at the Creedence show, and it worked fairly well. So,
Excellent.
talk to us about marketing numbers, Rob.
Well, membership numbers, which of course are the result of our membership coming through and hearing about it through the communications process, and of course their love of Fest. So I want to thank Erin. I think her last name is pronounced Gers, but she's wonderful. She's a longtime volunteer, and thanks to her, we have our first accurate membership numbers. So I do have something I can show. Let's see if it shows up. If I share a screen, could I do that? Let's give it a shot. Does everybody see something here?
It's coming up. There it is.
So our numbers have actually gone up since in the last 24 hours. We're now over 1,100. Now that might seem less than last time when we had 1,200, but those were guesstimates. These are the real numbers. We're at 1093 and about 20 more now. So we're about 1113. You can see the 200 monthly memberships, 200 on the nose, and you can see the separation between paid and unpaid. So moving along, 322 members have come since we began the overall push. That's a lot, 322 new members. Think about it, it's about a little under a third of all our membership has come this year. And how has the campaign been? Let's take a look here. This is the August campaign. Now 20 more. So we're up to about 220 as part of our campaign, that 61 for 61. We had a very lofty goal and we can still hit it. We may want to keep this campaign open a little longer than the 31st, depending on when the BCO comes. So we'll talk about that. But you'll hear a little bit more in the next week or so on this. Thank you to everyone who's made this possible.
Yes. Thank you, Rob. Thank you to everybody who has been part of this campaign and joined or added on or joined again. I noticed several people that had become members earlier that joined at the 61 level in addition or added on, and I'm so grateful for people who are double dipping into their own accounts to help us out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. George.
Can I jump in just for a second?
Yeah.
Just want to let people know that we are at capacity for this Zoom meeting. So if anyone's trying to get in, they can go over to one of the two streaming services. My profile on Facebook, which is 6 Suggs Dennis, or YouTube, do a search for PFS BOD, and you'll get one of the videos running. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. We had it at 100 and we're at presently 99. We were at 100 a little earlier. George, did you want to talk about governance issues? I know you have a report, which I read today and was beautiful.
All right, great. Then I'll read through that. The committee held its meeting this week, and we'll have a meeting in 2 weeks as well. We are looking at the board director nominations and election timeline. The most important point for that is this month, next week, we need to release information to membership about the board selection procedures and number of board seats that are up for election this year. So I'll be drafting that and providing it to the board so that it can be released properly. Directors up for election, I'll have that on the list. We're also looking at creating a demographic survey of the board of directors. We are reviewing different resource information and templates that we can amend and modify for our own use. I think that a person with an understanding of grant writing would be helpful for the future. They don't have to be the ones doing grant writing, but at the moment we have no staff. We certainly understand that that is off the table until we have the Commonwealth on our side again. Resources do exist in our area for potential individuals who would make excellent directors. The only criteria is that they have to be a member of the Philadelphia Folksong Society. And we're looking at creating a few or recreating some documents, for instance, conflict of interest forms, which I know exist, and a few other forms which I know exist, but I don't have soft copies of them yet. But that is a brief report from the governance committee.
Thank you, George. Very important stuff. Just a quick reminder that if you could list the folks that are actually up for, would have to stand for election again in December because they filled seats that were vacant.
That's correct. That is correct. There is a gap in the bylaws, but we feel as though the individuals that the board of directors elected and placed on the board should have an opportunity in front of membership as well. So that's why we have just 3 seats up for election. And we do need to talk about 2 other possible seats. There are gaps in board of director minutes that seem to indicate that there might be 2 more seats. So I think, Miles, you and I need to discuss that before we go any further.
Right. I was under the impression we had, for some reason, 8 seats as the max. And what you're saying.
What I'm saying is there's a possibility it's actually 10.
Right.
Actually 10. There was in 2017 a seat created. And then back in 2021, the board may or may not have decided to reduce a seat. And see, again, this is why we have problems knowing what we did in the past, and minutes are not always available. We fortunately have straightened that out this year.
So we'll have to look into that. I know there's some folks that pay attention and may actually know as membership, and that would be great. So
that's right.
All right. Thanks, George. Anything else? Okay. Thank you all. I think there was a hand up. When did you have a hand up, or were you swatting flies? Okay. All right. Hang on. I gotta look at my list. I'm sorry. Yeah. So there are a couple of outstanding issues. I talked earlier with the board that we were approached last week by an old friend of the Folksong Society, who is currently on the board of the Martin Guitar Charitable Organization, Charitable Foundation, Martin Guitar Charitable Foundation, which is separate from the Martin Guitar Company. It is Martin Guitar Company's charitable foundation. And he reached out and said, we haven't heard from you guys in a number of years. We have a deadline of September 1st for an application. Are you interested? And so we are going to go for that, hoping that the BCO certification comes through on the 31st and we can email the thing to them on the 31st or the 1st. We would have 2 business days of a day and a half maybe of leeway there. So we're looking at that. And because that has not even been written yet or decided upon, I have a bunch of ideas, other people have a bunch of ideas. It gets ahead of Rob's plan for raising funds, and I apologize to him for that, because he was like, don't step on the plan. But it is also, this is when they make their determination of funding for the year. So if we wanted money for the upcoming festival, it would have to be by September 1st. And also that individual who's a director, a volunteer director on their board, as a person with a great love of Philadelphia Folk Festival, and has offered to also talk with us about some other creative ways to fund things once we get our BCO back. Excuse me, that he has seen in festivals and arts organizations across the country. So that could be very, very cool, even if we don't quite hit that deadline. And we are hoping we do. So just kind of a general update. Wendy, did you ever find those documents you were looking for?
Which documents are we referring to?
You and I texted earlier about something that were in some notes that you were looking, and if you didn't find them, let's not bring it up because we could be wrong.
I didn't, but I mean, again, we have a lot to look through in the office still, so we're still looking and sorting and all of that. So now that I am, now that I'm finished moving and all that kind of stuff, I can actually spend a bunch more time there to take a look at what is there and sort through everything. Nothing was really well organized. We just packed everything up to get it out. So we'll take a look.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let me just ask this, because we have wonderful membership. I need to talk to somebody about changing some of our insurance coverage. Does anybody know, or is anybody connected with an insurance broker or company that is friendly to nonprofits, struggling nonprofits? If you do, reach out to me at mthompson@pfs.org. Some of the best things we have encountered in this organization have come from our membership as tips or suggestions, or even individuals who had stuff. So if anybody's in that game or knows somebody or is married to or partnered with or whatever, let me know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're not in bad shape. I'm trying to change something to make things work better for us. That's all. All right. Do we have any specific calls for volunteers from the board? At the moment, we've got a bunch of volunteers that have helped out. Kimberly has her hand up. Go ahead, Kimberly.
Hey, if anyone is proficient in Google Docs and putting together PDFs and newsletters, Rob, I'm in your brain because we're thinking of the same thing. We need a sponsorship deck and we're going to need some visual aids. And if anyone is proficient in that, give me a shout.ksinclair@pfs.org with much thanks.
Anything else from the board? I'm going to throw one out there that Wendy and I have talked about. We are going to need a volunteer of people with OCD who love to clean. We're going to need a volunteer crew of those people to dust and clean our office, our new space, because it's dirty. And we brought a lot of that dirt with us. And it just needs to be done, and it needs to be people who really care about this stuff. And I'm just enough of a, like, dude that I don't care. So let's, if people are interested in helping that out, also hit me up at mthompson@pfs.org. Clean freaks among you, please come out of the woodwork and help us out. We are trying to make the place more pleasant than it already is. Wendy?
So I am going to be helping to spearhead a rethinking of the whole merchandise tent idea, milieu, whatever you want to call it, for the next festival. And I am going to be working with Trina McGee. And if you want to help us really rethink how we're going to do merchandise, please write to me, wfewer@pfs.org. And we're going to start working on that fairly soon, just to sort of decide how we want to revamp everything.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Unless anybody on the board has anything else, I would like to open the floor to questions from members, s'il vous plaît. So, questions from members. First one I see is Mara Levine. Go ahead.
Sure, thanks a lot. Got a question. Is anyone going to go out and check out the Salem County Fairgrounds? They're having the Bluegrass Festival, I think the Labor Day weekend, just to check out to see, what the cost would be, et cetera, just to get a feel for it.
We haven't decided on that yet. I'm feeling very much at this point like there are a lot of reasons why we would not leave Old Pool Farm for 2024. And we do need to have a discussion about this, but it is also worth checking out other places for the future or other concerns. So we'll talk about it, but thank you.
I'd like to add one other piece to that. We have put somebody on assignment who will be contacting the Delaware Valley Bluegrass Festival, which I believe is on those grounds, and getting inside information in terms of their business plan, et cetera. But that is, I want to also, reiterate what Miles said. It's not for this year as much as for future information that we want to get on a lot of different festivals and options.
Mara, does that answer your question?
It sort of does. I mean, if someone's investigating the costs, I think that's a good thing.
Yep.
Just to get an understanding, in the last meeting when you itemized some of the costs for the site, and the extra 10% the county wants. And then I read the results of the survey that Annie sent, and there was a lot of comments from older folks about, navigating around the site. So I just thought, if it's happening, we should check it out, see what it costs, see what, all those factors are, given the results of the survey and the fact that it's right around the corner. And maybe, if we could save $50,000, $60,000, is that something, worthwhile? But yeah, again, just investigating.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get, I don't have a full name here, but TOMMC.
Yeah. Hey, Miles. It's Tom McGee.
Hey, Tom.
Talking about, to Rob, about sponsorship. How far are we willing to go? I know in the past with the older leadership of the society, the whole idea of sponsorship was kind of theme of it. It was just something that would not be considered. Are we willing to go to the point where we become the Philadelphia Folk Festival sponsored by Wawa?
So to answer your question, that decision is based on a number of different factors. We have received from 700 plus members in our survey that 50% basically said whatever it takes for sponsorships. Another 30+% said as long as it's not too intrusive. Another, trying to remember this, 80. Another 19% said, I don't know how I feel about that. And less than 1% said, no, we're not going to do sponsorships. That tells us that the membership is open to some level of sponsorships, but we need to be somewhat discreet. To answer your question specifically, we don't know yet whether we go that far, but I think that might be a question that would be posed this way. If it meant being able to have a fiscally sound organization to simply say, like many other festivals, Philadelphia Folk Festival sponsored by, would it be worth it to have the festival continue or not, if that was the decision? If it's just icing on the cake, maybe not. But if it's $100,000, $200,000, maybe it needs to be considered. Certainly the membership will have a say in it, but the ultimate decision will be the board's, in terms of the fact that we're ultimately responsible for the fiscal integrity of the organization.
Okay, great, thanks, Rob. I agree with you that obviously it depends on the level of sponsorship and the amount of visibility, but thanks for the answer, that's fabulous.
One of the concerns always is if the sponsorship involves a whole lot of mucking around with how we do things for our festival. That's harder to make sense of. And so we would have to work with whoever is offering us money to make sure that we are, the spirit of our festival and the ethos of our festival continues. So, and frankly, I think there are a number of corporations that would love to look at who we've got, and say, man, you could, I mean, I'm not going to suggest this too lightly, but, there's a lot of Subaru drivers in that lot, and they might want more cars. So just a thought,
Yeah, and the idea of wow is kind of off the top of my head, but on the other hand, wouldn't it be great to have a Wawa tent selling hoagies?
Can you imagine the hoagie truck? It would be great.
Exactly.
Philly.
I just applied to Wawa today for my day job, and they certainly have a possibility.
Yeah. Jenny French, is your hand up? I can't quite see what you're doing.
Yes, I can't find the little hand thing. What is BCO? When the BCO comes in, I'm sorry, but some of the acronyms just.
All right. The BCO is the Pennsylvania Department of State, has a Bureau of Charitable Organizations.
Oh.
It's actually a slightly longer title than that, but the BCO registration is that which allows us to be a soliciting charitable organization in Pennsylvania. We've been using the acronym BCO because it's just much easier to say.
Thank you.
Yep. Carolyn B., go ahead. Carolyn B. has a hand up. And I'm getting no response. Okay. Maybe Carolyn B. will circle back. Any other questions or concerns?
I think she's trying to say something. She unmuted herself.
No. Okay. Carolyn, we see that you've unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Put it in chat.
Yeah, feel free to send that in the chat box,
That's
Carol.
not available to those of us that are not on the board.
Chat's turned off.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, sorry. All right.
Turn it on now if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. So the chat's being activated for folks that for some reason can't. We're having trouble getting things to work. Yeah, and we will do the captions too. All right. While we're waiting for Carolyn to possibly type something out, are there other questions from folks?
Miles, I see a JMS Graham with his hand in the air.
Okay. Not seeing that, but go ahead. JMS Greyhound, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, that's somebody else who's on my machine earlier today. This is Ted Greenberg. And I firstly want to say thank you to all of you folks for the great work you've been doing. From too much stuff previously out there to what you're planning, and just revitalized my interests. Also, I'd like to offer my house as usual, the Overbrook Home for the Bewildered, for any house concerts that you want to put up. And put me down for the Tommy Manuel show.
Thank you. What we're probably going to do do you follow our Facebook page?
Yes.
We're going to probably put the Tommy Emmanuel stuff there because it seems to be a very effective way to get people to sign up. So hit that as well in case somehow all of us forget, which, you know, there's like not a whole lot going on in my head right now. I'm doing my best, but so there. Carolyn B says, if there's been a clean sweep of past problems, why are we still having Sam B working on the website? Part of
I
that.
can answer that.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a contract with him until the end of 2023.
Right.
And part of that is him giving us an hour every month to update the website.
And Tommy Emmanuel, somebody's telling me, a couple people are telling me it's a Sunday, not a Saturday. I'm sorry. I took a guess. That is a Saturday, I believe it's the 10th of September. If you guys want to check that. Thank you. But yeah, Carolyn B, that's what that answer is. We have a paid contract we're running out. The 9th is a Saturday. All right, we're going to have to look this up on the Keswick website and get it on our Facebook page instead of figuring it out here, because clearly I've got the date wrong. All right. Are there other hands up that people see? I don't see any hands up. Board members, do you see something I don't?
I see Ron Reed with his hand up.
Ron Reed, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Actually, I did a $61. I went to the festival in the 70s, and you know, you guys still hang out for too good, and so I just wanted to tell you, you know, that I'm behind you 100%. It sounds like as a nonprofit you've got problems, but you know, I also live in Georgia, so it's kind of hard to, you know, can't get to hear anybody. But yeah, I decided to come to the meeting tonight and see what was going on, and that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for your support. I'm happy to hear from an old friend of ours from Georgia. Do we see any other? I'm apparently not seeing any hands up.
Just
Mara's
wanted
got
to
a
clarify that Sam was working on the folkfest.org website rather than the pfs.org. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So that helps Carolyn with an answer. It's two separate websites.
Right. And actually,
yeah.
Yep, that is correct. Thank you for clarifying that. I knew it in my mushy brain, but I somehow couldn't figure it out. Keswick site says Sunday, September 2/10. We believe that's September 10. 8 OM. That's probably 8 PM. Tommy Emmanuel. Thanks, Nina. Yes, and members, of course, can ask questions at this point. And if we don't have a whole lot more, we're all exhausted. We still have to have a meeting. So, Sue Deckard, yeah. No. Body language said I have a question. She didn't mean it. Okay.
So thank you so much and have a good meeting.
Thank you, Sue. Do we see anybody else, a member with a hand up with a question? Doug Hirth, my friend, go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking Wendy, but I might have missed the email. I'm looking for the application to get the PFS license plate. I'd been online and they say contact the organization to get the application from them.
Yeah, we have to look into that. I don't know.
Okay.
Wendy,
Doug, when we moved everything from the other venue, I know that application kind of thing that was hanging on the wall went into a box. So I will look for it. As soon as I get those numbers that you need, I will get them to you. Okay. And I'll put them up on the official Facebook page as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
I also want to take a moment and publicly thank Doug because he set up all of the office furniture that we brought over from the old office to the new office. And we brought it over in pieces because, you know, you have to. And I went back there a couple of weeks later and it was all set up because Doug did it. And I don't know if he brought somebody with him, but man, I also know there was some gymnastics involved because an internal lock got locked and he had to climb over a wall through a drop ceiling. And yeah, crazy stuff. That has been fixed, Doug, by the way. Those doors won't lock. So the internal doors won't lock anybody out again. But thank you, Doug. We could not have done it without you. You're terrific. Thanks so much.
Levi Landis says that he says he thinks he's got the license plate app. So
thank you,
Levi, if you could get that to me, wfu@pfs.org, that'd be great. And then I will put it on the website and all of that.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Thanks for looming. Kimberly, is that a hand?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone to please, if you want to get in touch with the directors, please email directors@pfs.org. The Philly folk at pfs.org is not checked daily. So if you want an answer back from us, you're going to get it faster if you send it to the directors@pfs.org. Just wanted to remind everyone of that. Thank you.
All right. It is just after 8 o'clock. We started this meeting at 6. Jim Klingler, go ahead.
I move we adjourn.
Somebody's got to second this.
I'll second it.
Good. Let's vote. All in favor? All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Thank you, all of you people who have helped us either financially or morally or with time and energy and blood, sweat, and tears and climbing over walls, Doug. And, you know, onward and upward, we're in much better shape than I thought we would be. And I'm so grateful to all of you for that. And thank you all very much. Board, please stick around. We need to chat for a little while. And everybody else, be well. Peace, love, music. We'll see you all soon. Thanks.